Hi. So this is my final leadership journey reflection. I decided to do it as a video just because I wanted it to be a little more visual. I have some examples here. I just filmed this video, but then it like deleted, and then I had to go to improv rehearsal. So I'm working with what I got because I put this whole thing together and I stupidly took it away from recently deleted. But I'll explain to you what the symbols were prior because they were a little more intentional than these ones. But these ones will do the trick. They're just snack based rather than like I had little trinkets in my room. So I really wanted to split up kind of my journey into three separate parts because I've had a lot of revelations and discoveries recently about kind of what my life has looked like as a leader, especially going into my junior year. I've had a lot of discoveries within the last like 2 weeks or so of what I wanted to do with the skills that I learned within this class. So I decided to kind of look at my progress in kind of more like this sort of way because I feel like there's three different elements of me as a leader, and they two of them come from my past, and one of them kind of comes from what I'm excited to see as the future. So this is my high school self. This is a monster. My friend Ken. I think my friend Ken actually brought all of these snacks, so he graciously gave these to me. So this is a Monster energy drink. This is what I would consider myself in high school to be. Specifically because in high school, I was willing to do everything. I was student body president for my junior and senior year. I was a leadership role in theater. I did NHS. I was part of a National English Honor Society. I did all of these extra things outside of school as well within community theaters where I wanted to have leadership roles. And I wanted to be as involved as possible. And I think a big thing about energy drinks, especially ones like Monsters, is that it's just go, go, go. Get it done, do it all, sugar, you know? And I think a big thing about that is that I was kind of putting my eggs in so many baskets, which isn't always a horrible thing, but I think that it didn't really allow me to be the best that I could be. Specifically because I think since I've come to college, I've been able to focus and hone in on more into just one thing, which is kind of like my art and the practice that I'm doing here. And I think within the leadership roles, I think a lot of the times I internally wanted to do this for a big thing. I always told myself that I wanted to do something in the realm of transformational leadership, which is what I kind of wanted to came into this class thinking I was, especially after doing like the first form. I was very much into transformational leadership, and after hearing about Dr. Bensou's speech, I really wanted to get more into transformational leadership within that, and even looking into Alex Chang's. But the thing that Alex Chang reminded me of was that personal life really does influence career life, and personal life can influence leadership life, and all of the events in your life kind of add up to who you are as a person and what your identity is, and that totally has everything to go into who you are ethically as well, and what you've been taught throughout your life, and what you morally think is wrong or right. So yes, that kind of does also have to go into my definition. I think my definition was very specific, and I think overall in leadership, I think things need to be brought into a newer horizon for inclusivity, and also for more terms and topics and things to be talked about within leadership, because leadership includes so many different types of things. And I think my definition as a leader, I can't remember right off the top of my bat, I should have written it down, but it definitely had specific words like accountability, trust, responsibility, and it includes all of these different things that a leader needs to have as an ethical leader, but it's just so much more than what I used to think bridged under leadership. And I think that kind of went into my thought process of transformational leadership, especially as I really worked on Wish Week with the Make-A-Wish Foundation with my high school. I really focused on kind of a transformational leadership style within that. And I think it would have helped me to be a little more situational in that sense. I did a really great job, I believe, at kind of focusing in on our kid and the reason we were doing Make-A-Wish for. Basically, Make-A-Wish sponsors a kid, and each high school has a kid in my county, and they have a life-threatening illness, and they have one wish. In my senior year, Leo wished to go to the Tampa Bay Lightning to meet his favorite hockey player, so we had to raise the money for that. And I think I did a very good job at putting all the focus on that cause to bring the group together, to have that overall meeting that transformational leadership really does indulge in. But I also think I could have done a little better on being able to adapt and being able to see more than just past that, because I think near the end of that week, I remember being so concerned about the goal and reaching our goal. Even though we've raised enough money for him, I wanted to get past the amount of money we made the year before, and we were able to do that. And I think it was a blessing and a curse to have that, because I think I was able to kind of lock in and really see what was there, and really kind of prioritize that for the week rather than all these other things going on, along with like college auditions and all these other things in my life. But I was also kind of able to see like that maybe that wasn't the reason. Maybe the money isn't the reason. The reason is for the cause that we're doing it. And there's only so much I can do as a leader. I am not the only leader, and I think that's a huge thing about ethical leadership. But the next kind of food I wanted to talk about is my time here as a freshman and sophomore in high school. I chose Oreos, specifically the cream. So I chose a penguin because I think a big thing about penguins is that once they are in their own environment, once their parents leave them, they kind of all huddle together and they have to work together. And that's kind of how my first year at college definitely felt like. For snack-wise, because I had to kind of pivot a little, be a little situational, I chose Oreos because I feel like I kind of was huddled in with a group of people, like I think a lot of freshmen are. And through that, I didn't really feel the need to step up and be a leader in any way of needing like a title. And I think I kind of led in different ways, but I also think I didn't have the need to want to really become a leader and want to do all these things, or have things thrust on me, because I think I was in a new environment and I had to get used to adapting. And I think being kind of like that cream within like two cookies next to you is kind of how I felt. And that's kind of how I wanted to be. I wanted to be secure with my friends. I wanted to be with the group of people that I felt comfortable. And I was able to switch around at times, but I definitely did not want to be the main leader. And I think that allowed me to kind of reflect on a lot of what I was in high school and a lot of who I was, and kind of even expand me artistically. I think it helped me kind of, I've been a lot better at taking notes artistically more, especially when I'm doing shows and I'm in projects. I'm able to learn how to adapt and grow with a group of people rather than just me individually. I think that's a really important thing for the career field that I'm going into. And I also think I learned that I really just do want to be an actor. And I think that had to do a lot with my own leadership skills, because there's so much within leadership of theater. And I think acting and storytelling on stage is what I want to do. Directing could definitely come down that way, but I think that this is definitely the next step I need to take is acting. And that's why I'm here. And the last thing is popcorn. This is the last kind of like visual I wanted to show, because I think a lot of this kind of, the next part of my story, basically 2 weeks ago, my best friend Alyssa asked me if I wanted to assistant direct a show with her next semester, and I gave it thought, and I decided that I would. And so I think the popcorn is kind of an interesting thing. I know that smart food popcorn in the bag is not how this works, but I felt like I was a colonel kind of before that, and I think I'm slowly, very slowly, if you were to slow down the microwave, I'm popping into something new, and I might look like a crazy piece of popcorn. I do not know what this piece of popcorn is going to look like at all, but I can feel myself expanding, and I can feel myself expanding still within a community of other kernels. And there's some kernels that are my peers that have already popped. There's some kernels of my peers that haven't popped yet. And I'm excited to kind of join the peers that did pop while still supporting the other ones to make a full bowl of popcorn by the time we graduate here, especially because I work so closely with all of my peers. So I'm really excited to see what I do with the project of In Pieces that we're doing next semester. I think this is the best way to put all of my ethical leadership values into this. And I think I'm going to want to try to be more situational, and I'm going to try to want to explore all of the other types of leadership, because I think that's the important thing, to be adaptable, especially in this day and age, and especially being a college student. This is an educational environment above all else, and I think the only way to learn is if I try things. And I think another thing I've learned is that I am a very conflict avoidant person, especially the unit that we talked about with conflict avoidance. And I'm really excited to see how I can branch out of that and kind of have conversations that help me to grow, not only to encounter things that make me uncomfortable, but help me to kind of assert leadership and live with the power that I have now, especially as a director, while still being collaborative and still being lending a listening ear and still being the type of person I consider myself to be. So yeah, I'm excited. I think these three things together are all great things, and I think there's an element of them that can kind of come together within the next few years. But I'm excited to explore the popcorn side of me. I'm excited to still be mindful about these two sides, because these two sides have benefits, and these two sides have things that I'm excited to explore more. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon. Goodbye.